What is going on, everyone, and welcome back to another Black Desert video. So it's that time again. We update one of our older guides. We're going to be talking about the Pearl Shop and the important things to be getting, because I usually update this video twice a year, before the Calpheon and before the Hydo Ball, and we are coming up to the Hydo Ball in a month. So usually what that means is new players are generally going to come to the game and try it out. People are going to be returning to the game as well. And so I wanted to talk about the Pearl Shop in terms of the important things you're going to want to get if you are going to spend money on the game, just because it's a good idea to just get the things you need and not just spend too much money on it. And so before we start, I want to say, let's get the question out of the way. Can you play this game free to play or low spender? Absolutely. That's what we're going to be talking about today as well. But I've also tried this on console, completely free to play. And if I did an EU like series where I just see how far I can get, I absolutely can do this free to play as well. But with that said, let's go into the Pearl Shop. We're going to go down every tab and basically talk about what is important. So if you were going to spend money, the way I see this game is like, you know, your AAA games, right? Are $60 to $100 generally. So let's talk about that in terms of if you had like $100 budget, what should you get trying out the game? All right, so let's just go down the important tabs and everything. We're just going to ignore the new ones, but those are usually talked about in other things. All right, so loyalties, what are they? Basically, loyalties, if you log in every day, you get 300 loyalties. This is kind of like the free-to-play currency. There's a lot of good things you can get over here, and usually the things you want are basically permanent expansions, weight, and, you know, the extra workers and stuff that would normally cost you money, but that you can get over here. So I would prioritize weight and then overall like storage, workers, and everything with loyalties, and then you're good to go. All right. Going into the function. So there's two different things, weight and inventory in this game. So inventory is like your character's just normal inventory. Weight limit is how much you can hold. If you were to only pick one of them, I would always choose weight limit, simply because when you're grinding, you want to have a higher weight limit to hold more things. You don't necessarily need like more inventory space. To give you a realistic thing, this is about what my inventory looks like. You know, give or take one or two more rows, just because when I grind, you get like extra stuff. But usually it's pretty clean. And you could dump all your stuff in your storage. And then, so that's why inventory isn't as important. Plus, you can get it through seasonal characters and, you know, without spending money. And just playing the game naturally, doing events and everything, they kind of give inventory expansions. So like, all of these things right here, these inventory slots, I never paid for any of them. It's just me playing the game naturally over time, doing the events, so you can get them as well. Whereas weight is very limited, and it's, I would say, overall more important, just to, you know, when you're grinding, for example, you're going to be holding more stuff, and I think that's why it's more important. So yeah, with that said, weight limit, higher priority than inventory. You can get this for free. You don't really even need that many slots. You just use storages, or you could use your horse to hold your loot and everything. Let's see, what else is important? Slot expansions. This kind of gets into the territory of if you are already knowledgeable of the game, and you have like a node worker empire set up, you probably, the important things you want to probably get are the workers, but this is more like end game if you already know what you're doing and you just limited on contribution points and everything. But some storages, like you can get a lot of storage inventory for free nowadays as well, which is actually very nice. So like if you want a full inventory, generally they give it away pretty frequently through events and everything, so I wouldn't worry about that too much. The alternatives is like, for example, you invest in a house in a certain town, completely free to play, by the way, and then you would just get, you know, set it up for storage or lodging if you need the workers. So I would say lower on the priority list, and you don't even need it at all if you're free to play. So if that's what you're thinking about, it's more of an end game thing. Let's see what else is important. Well, that was really it in the function tab. You know, inventory, weight. Weight is always more important. Next, we're going on to the travel aid value pack. Every MMO generally has a monthly subscription. The value pack is that equivalent. I would consider this the highest value of it, and there are ways you can get it every month. Like the free-to-play route, if you are doing it, is essentially when you sell all your items, you just don't collect it. And I think there was like where is it? Somewhere down here, there's like a value pack thingy or an old moon that you can get pretty regularly. And also, so basically you don't hold it, or like you don't collect the silver because you'll get taxed more until you have a value pack. And so you want to basically just hold off until you do. Yeah, it's right here, the 1 day stuff. And then you collect it all at once. It's a little bit annoying, but it is what it is. The value pack is basically the sub of the game, a subscription, and I think that is actually pretty value. I would wait until these go on sale. Every now and then they have like a bulk one where you can get like what 90, 180 days or something like that for like half the price and a coupon. So that's when I would do it. Other packs, that's irrelevant. You don't need the gamble boxes. Maid and butler, you're probably going to see this and you're wondering, should I get these? Are they important? They actually give these away pretty regularly through like, you know, events and stuff. Basically what it allows you to do is, you know, deposit and withdraw stuff into your central market and your storages without having to be in town. It is nice. Do you need them? Not necessarily. It's just a quality of life thing. All right, let's see. Where are we? Oh my god. Okay. Temporary buffs. So, you're probably thinking, Blessing of Kamasylve, Secret Book of Old Moon, Value Pack. Those are all different, you know, timed subscription thingies that give you buffs. I would say, in terms of like the order of things you should get, if you were going to do them, Value Pack is number 1, highest priority. Secret Book of Old Moon, second, and then Blessing of Kamasylve, number 3. The item drop rate, energy recovery, is always nice and all, but I think that is the least important because there's a lot of ways to get item drop rate in the game these days to get very close to 300%, which is the cap, or, you know, and all that stuff without spending money. Energy recovery, even if you're a life skiller, there's a lot of other buffs that you can get in game that you can boost your energy recovery per cycle. So a little bit less relevant. Secret Book of Old Moon is probably more important because you buy the scrolls and everything at any time. So, and then change your add-ons and everything. So are these required and will they enhance your gameplay a little bit? But I would say like every year they're starting to introduce more items in the game where you don't need to have these as much, because recently, a couple of months ago, well, actually maybe a year ago at this point, they added these scroll thingies. These are the equivalent of your tent buff, and you can get them in scroll form and item usable. So basically you only need to be able to get it, then you stock up on them, like all these scrolls, the tent buff, church buff, and everything, and then you just use them. So if you're on a limited schedule or budget, everything with the tent and everything, you don't really need it. You just stock up on the scrolls nowadays. So yeah, value pack, high priority. Other buffs, just kind of optional. If you were to pick one of the two, I would choose Secret Book over the Blessing. All right, so the tent's Naphart campsite. This is the thing where you buy the buffs, and there's a free-to-play version one and a pay-to-win one. It is worth getting. I will admit, this is probably one of the most used things in the game, and no matter what you do, whether you're a PvP or PvE or life skiller, you'll probably be using this. So it is something worth investing into, and the best time to buy it is when it's on sale. Usually during like event times, they'll usually give a lot of coupons and stuff to bring that full price down to like half. Generally around like 40 to 50% off is when I would get it. And this is probably one of the number one things I would recommend getting in the game, because you will be using it pretty regularly no matter what you're doing. Ferry. Okay, so this ferry is up there and one of the most pay to win things you can do. If you got lucky getting your ferry, great. So what I mean by that is it's easy to get a ferry and get it to max level. It's very difficult to get the right skills and the perfect skills on it. That's where things get expensive. I have a video talking about the best skills and, you know, what you should prioritize. It's a kind of a longer video. I'll leave it in the description if you care to watch it. But just quick TLDR, Miraculous Tier 5. You want that as highest priority, then the other ones are nice to have. Once again, the video, I'll leave it in the description if you want to know why I chose everything. But there's that. So yeah, everything in the travel aid we talked about. Highest priorities would be probably the campsite and then value pack, and then after that everything is just kind of optional. Okay, so outfit. There's a lot of life skill outfits that speed things up. I think those are interesting. Highest priority on the usables is probably the processing one, cooking and alchemy. Those kind of go on sale, and sometimes they give it away for free for various events. They have done that in the past. But my stance on outfits. So, there's two things. If you are buying an outfit because you just like how it looks, great. If you are buying it for cronstones, that's where the pay to win comes in. And that's where people are like, okay, so is this game pay to win? And that's what they're referring to. Buying the outfits, melting it for crons, using the crons to upgrade your gear. Ultimately, it does not really affect anyone. If someone is spending a lot of money, you most likely will never interact with them in your BDO career. And so if you're buying outfits, great. It's not really a big deal. Most of the time you're doing a lot of stuff solo in the game. Will it affect you? No. So it's really not a big deal. Yes, it is pay to win. No, you will not be affected by it. That's my stance on it. If you like buying outfits because you like how it looks, great. No, not a big deal at all. And then the one thing that I think is kind of a little bit weird is how all these things give extra stats, and, you know, different outfits have, you know, different accessory slots and horse gear and so on. It's not a big deal, but it is, you know, it is pay to win in a way. Okay, so next we're going down to interior. This is all just house decorating stuff. You will never have to use it if you don't want to. If you're like an RPer or something and you just like having a nice house or manor, chances are you're going to be looking at that. But aside from that, it's not a big deal. You will probably never look at this if you don't care about it. Going down into the mount tab, one of the most important things to get is a horse whistle. Nowadays, getting a trainer's flute or a celestial calling horn is probably one of the better things, because it allows you to call your horse, you know, wherever you are. It's really nice to have. I think playing through a seasonal generally gives you one of them, and then there's a quest line to get another. So you can do it free to play, but if you plan on playing multiple characters, you do want to invest in it. Aside from that, all these are just outfits and skins as well. If you like it because you like it, great. It's not a big deal. Same with like boats and everything. I think these are really cool. Would I pay full price for them? Absolutely not. But these are really nice. Same with wagons, a lot of just outfits and skins. Okay, so pets. Pets in this game basically go with you, and then they pick up loot when you're grinding. They also have extra effects on, you know, life skills and combat, so you can get all these. If you are free to play, how do you get these for free? There's a bunch of quests in the game that allow you to just get pets for free. You can also put orders on them on the central market whenever there's events. I see them sitting every now and then. But basically, you know, over here, you'll see a quest line in your suggested tab. There's like a pets tab, and I think doing the quest line gets you a free pet. Doing a lot of these event thingies over here, which I have a video of. Sometimes they give another one. So you can get all your pets for free, and it's not really a big deal. And So people have asked me before, is it better to get 5 like tier 1 pets? So quick clarification, pets go up to tier 5 technically, or I guess tier 4, and you can boost it to tier 5. When you get them, they're tier 1. So you can have 5 total pets, right? So people ask, is it better to get 5 tier 1 pets or 1 tier 5? The answer is always 5 pets because it'll help you loot more when you're grinding, and it's just overall better. So yeah, more pets is better than 1 like buffed pet in a way. Where the pay to win comes in is if you're like min-maxing to kind of talents and skills that it gives, or if you have like 6 different presets for life skills, PvP, PvE, and so on. That's where things kind of get expensive. But for the majority of players, real talk, a lot of these pets are free, and I haven't bought most of them. After I got my initial pets, a lot of these are literally just given for free through events. So I guarantee all of you will be fine. And I believe even if you just start the game, they give you like 1 or 2, so it'll be fine. So in case you're wondering, what are the priority ones if you're planning on buying it? Arctic Fox for item drop rate, and then, you know, every now and then they have the special ones like weight limit polar bears, always nice. Hedgehogs if you're a life skiller. Depending on where you're grinding, some of these are more like end game kind of things if you need the birds or life skilling. But if you're free to play, all you need is 5 of them. Kind of irrelevant which ones, as long as you have tier like 4 pets or 5 pets in general, that's the highest priority. Min-maxing those pets is where things get expensive. Aside from that, if you have the value pack, it gives you these Mervs palette, so you don't need to buy the dyes, and basically you just have the value pack running, and you can dye your stuff infinitely as long as you have an active value pack. If you're buying the dyes, it's really just for the permanent thingy, so like once you get these, you never have to worry about it again, even if your value pack runs out, as far as I understand. But as long as you have a value pack or Mervs palette, functionally the same thing. These are just like the permanent version. So yeah, basically we covered everything that's important. If you want a quick TLDR, we'll just run through everything again. Loyalties are the free ones. You get anything that you can't get in game for free or with silver. So permanent storage is always nice. You know, weight limit is always nice, and just storage expansions, lodging, always good. Weight limit is a higher priority than inventory. Slot expansions are more for the end game people, and you know, once you figure out your node and worker empire, that's good to go. The travel aid, you really do want to prioritize a tent at some point. If you were to get one, get this one, but on sale. I think there's a few coupons now if you were to like start up or return. So you could probably get it significantly cheaper. And value pack over everything else. Value pack, number 1 priority of the temporary buffs. Then Secret Book of Old Moon, number 2. Blessing of Kamasylve, number 3. You don't even need these. I just think that if you were to get them, that would be the order. Fairy, kind of pay to win. I have a video talking about how you could do this free to play or, you know, with silver only, and the priority skills. Just watch that video. It's a little bit on the longer side, but I explain everything in pretty good detail. Outfits, if you like it because you like the outfit, great, not a big deal. Just get the one you like. It will not affect anyone else. Mounts, get a whistle if you can. And that's about it. If you plan on playing multiple characters, it's something you want to get. Other than that, these are just kind of like ship skins, wagon skins, horse outfits, and everything. Pets, I would prioritize just getting 5 of them over, you know, specific ones. You can spend money on it later once you already have what you want, and then you're just kind of min-maxing and you spend money. So that's about it. Hopefully you learned something. If you have any questions, I am happy to point you in the right direction on what you should probably get if you are planning on spending money. Ultimately, yeah, you can play this game relatively cheap and without spending money at all if you don't want to. There's a lot of quests and games, you just kind of have to look it up, and I think ultimately most people will do fine. on, you know, free to play, low spender. But that's about it. With that said, we got a lot of stuff coming up next week to talk about. We got a bunch of videos to do, and if you're interested in that, feel free to hit that subscribe button. Would love to see you guys come back, and I will see you tomorrow. Peace.